Hey guys, if you're new here and you like what I'm putting out, don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button and turn on all notifications so you never miss an upload. So Kamen Rider Zero-One Real Time is out now. I just watched it, I had a lot of fun watching it, and I'm finally glad I got to sit down and watch this movie because this movie is the true ending, you could say, for Kamen Rider Zero-One. It's the epilogue movie for the characters we've been following in Zero-One. Although I say that, and there's a bunch of spin-off movies and side stories planned for other characters, but this is the main story of Aruto being wrapped up in this movie, and it was a nice little epilogue. So this will contain spoilers in the review as I talk about the movie. I'm not going to go bit by bit and talk about it. I'm going to talk about the things I love, the things I didn't love, stuff like that. So let's talk about Kamen Rider Zero-One Real Time. So all the events in this movie take place in the span of an hour, which isn't too crazy for me because I'm a fan of Dragon Ball, and in Dragon Ball there's arcs that happen in the span of a day or less, but there's a lot of stuff that goes down in this movie in the span of an hour, and it's really cool. One thing that I really did like about this movie is Aruto is in limbo at the start of the movie where he's still alive but he's dead, he's unconscious, so he's in that state between being alive and dead. So while Aruto is left out of the action through the first, I want to say 30 minutes of the movie, you get a bunch of other characters who get the spotlight and the chance to shine, or the secondary riders and stuff like that, and I found that really cool to see most of the secondary riders having their chance in the spotlight. One of the scenes that I really did enjoy was when Yaiba, or Yuya, was on the bike, and there was this really awesome bike scene where she's taking on all these grunts and fodder characters on the bike, and it's really awesome. So the stunt work that the person did on the bike, that was really cool, and I enjoyed that quite a fair bit. That was an awesome scene. Not only that, you got to see a bunch of characters teaming up and interacting in this movie, which was also really cool. So Jin comes back, Hirobi comes back, all those characters that you saw in the TV show come back and get a chance to shine, and I found that really cool. Even in the climax of the film, you have all the secondary riders like Bowser and all that I mentioned earlier, all teaming up in this awesome action scene that I enjoyed quite a fair bit. I mean, all of those characters having the spotlight, I enjoyed a lot. Now, if there's one scene that stood out for me, apart from the group fights and the final fight in the film, that is the opening fight scene between Eden and Zero-One, because it starts off in a dark room and all you can see are the suits being lit up, and the lighting for this scene is really unique because the rider suits have this LED fluoro light going on for them as they're fighting in the dark. So the only thing you can see are the suits and a couple of Eden's followers in a circle around the characters fighting, and that was really unique, especially how the room is pitch black and the fluoro lights are being used as lighting for that scene as the characters are fighting. I thought that was really cool and a really unique way of lighting the scene for the characters, or lighting the room, or lighting the scene for the shots and stuff like that. That was super unique and it made the fight scene stand out for me, and I kind of wish they did that more in the film. But either way, that was a really strong opening that gets your attention right away with the darkness and the fluoro lights going off. That was really cool. I enjoyed that quite a fair bit. So let's talk about the villain of the film, Kamen Rider Eden. S, or whatever you want to call it. He's got a real name, but this character was set up to be this really big threat in the trailers and stuff like that. I'm going to destroy the world in 60 minutes. You're all going to become a part of my paradise. I'm going to wipe out humanity. And then you get to the climax of the film and you learn that he's not really killing people. Everyone that's getting attacked by the gas or the red gas or the nano machines, they're being sent in this AI paradise world to join his wife to see if they're worthy or not, which is really interesting because Aruto was there at the start of the movie, so he's basically creating a paradise so his wife isn't alone. And then you learn that he's not such a bad guy after all, because his wife was affected by the daybreak incident and stuff like that, and he has a human moment where he's not the villain after all, and then his followers turn on him. So yeah, he was set up to be the bad guy, and then he is actually a good guy after all. Kind of disappointing, but what are you expecting? I mean, it seemed like he was going to destroy the world, but actually he wasn't. He was trying to do something for his wife, and then he realizes the error of his ways and stuff like that. So kind of a disappointing villain, but his motives were really cool until you find out what his motives were, and you kind of feel for the guy and feel sorry for him. But he's not a terrible villain, but I should have seen coming that he wasn't a bad guy after all, but it is what it is. His followers were really cool, although his followers was also kind of a disappointment because you find out that his followers are these avatars that they created, and they're meant to be like these really cool looking people, like this, like, oh god, like I love what the avatars look like, and then you compare them to what the followers are, where it's just some fat housewife, a couple of nerd characters, and stuff like that, when their avatars are like this pro wrestler. This guy, one of them was played by a New Japan pro wrestler, and one of them's this like cute little idol girl or something like that, and then you've got the cool glasses looking guy. And yeah, the followers did look really cool. I kind of wish they had unique rider forms instead of all being the same as the other avatars or the followers behind them. I kind of wish, they had their own unique forms, but it is what it is. I did like their avatar forms, and I kind of wish you got to see the New Japan pro wrestler guy fight untransformed or unmorphed, whatever you want to call it. Let him like get some really cool action scenes instead of having him transformed and stuff like that, but it is what it is. So let's talk about the two main things that was mostly promoted with this film. One of them being Hell Rising Hopper and the other being Izu as Kamen Rider Zero-Two. So let's talk about Hell Rising Hopper first because that leads into Izu becoming Kamen Rider Zero-Two. So Hell Rising Hopper, Aruto uses this form in the film and he goes into this berserker mode, which was really cool because he's got the intent to kill, he's going crazy, he's gonna kill the main villain because he's gonna strangle him. And then Izu comes in, takes the attack or blocks it, and then you get the reveal of her being Zero-Two, and that was really cool. So Izu in this film, I believe it's implied she gets all her memories back from the original Izu, the clone or the rebuilt Izu, gets her memory back from the original by going into the Zaya. That was a really cool moment, a really touching moment, but Hell Rising Hopper, a really cool form, and I like it quite a fair bit. I do like this movie form he uses. They were kind of hyping it up that it would be like the main form of the movie that you'd see, but it's only got like less than 5 minutes of screen time in the film, and either way it's really cool. I do enjoy it quite a fair bit. But the other forms that the movie characters use, such as Eden and Lucifer, those were really cool. I really did enjoy those henshin transformations as well. Some really big Ava vibes coming from me when I saw them. Like, you have the skeleton hugging the user, and then they become, like, it's like the skeleton and this weird flesh creature. They hug the users, and then they become their Kamen Rider forms. That was really cool. But now we're going to talk about Izu as Zero-One. Now, I covered this the day the movie came out in Japan, because spoilers were all over the internet, and seeing Izu become Zero-One in the climax of the film is really cool. She kicks so much ass in this film. It's really awesome to see, and I enjoyed it quite a fair bit. Seeing Izu and Aruto team up in the climax of this film, fighting the final boss, which was one of the followers of Eden, was really cool. And seeing the final fight scene where they take out all the grunts and then they fight the final boss was really cool as well, because you've got the timer counting down, they both do the rider kick, the finishing move, and they destroy the boss. So seeing these two characters come together and team up in the film was a really nice wholesome moment, and I'm glad we got it. So yeah, Aruto and Izu defeat the final boss and everyone gets a nice happy ending at the end of the film. Now, my only small complaint, and this is going to be a nitpick, I kind of wish Bowser had more to do with this movie. He gets a few scenes here and there and he is in the background doing side things, but you don't get to see him transformed until like the final battle in the movie, which kind of sucks because Bowser is a really cool character. I do like his suit and I do like his weapons, but he is really broken, so he could have probably handled most of his situation by himself. But I kind of wish Bowser got some more screen time transformed in this film. But like I said earlier, I did like how everyone else got some screen time, like even the side characters who are very small, like all the humor gears, like the Doctor, the comedian, and stuff like that, the builder guy, they all get a small cameo in this film as well when they're going to interrogate one of the Eden followers to get some information out of him. There's this weird foot fetish, I don't know, scene where they try and get information where he's like shooting his abs at the dude. It was really weird, but it got a laugh out of me. But even those characters get some screen time, but Bowser does have a couple of cool moments in the film, but I kind of wish he was transformed a little bit more in this film. But hey, what are you going to do about it? Small nitpicks. So the movie wraps up. It gets a nice happy ending with Aruto and Izu, and I really enjoyed that quite a fair bit. So yeah, that's Aruto's story wrapped up. I'm sure we'll see the guy again. He's probably going to show up in a Saber movie or a team-up movie later down the line. Probably when they've got enough writers in the Reiwa generation, they will do like a Reiwa Generations Forever movie or something later down the line where they'll have these characters show up. So I get the feeling this isn't the last we've seen of Aruto, because he's definitely going to show up in a team-up movie or something eventually, no doubt about it. But I enjoyed this movie quite a fair bit, and it was a nice epilogue for these characters that I've been following for the past year or two, and Zero-One was the first Kamen Rider series I started watching weekly that got me on board the Kamen Rider train fully, so I'm glad I could see these characters' journey come to an end, even though some of their journeys aren't over yet and it's going to continue in spin-offs and side stories and stuff like that. I'm still invested in these characters to see where it's going to go next, but either way, I enjoyed the movie. I recommend checking it out if you're a fan of Zero-One. If you want to get some closure with these characters, go check out this movie and watch it. Anyway, folks, that's my review for Kamen Rider Zero-One Real Time. What did you guys think of the movie? If you're able to watch it, tell me in the comment section down below. With that said, I'm going to bring this video to a close. Special thanks to all the members such as Swagger4. If you want to get your name shouted at the end of a video like Swagger4 over here, become a Zord tier member or higher with special perks on the channel such as shoutouts, your name in the credits of every video, and stuff like that. With that said, I'm going to bring this video to a close. Thanks for watching, have a wonderful day or night, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!